Welcome back to another episode of the We Grow Together podcast. I'm Laura DiFrancesco, your host. I'm so excited about today's topic. We're going to be talking about lifestyle design for entrepreneurs, specifically how I use lifestyle design to architect a life that I absolutely love, filled with fur babies and more if you're watching from YouTube. So we've got Ember and Molly here with me today, who are going to be joining me for the podcast. And of course, in addition to that, I'm here at Flourish Co-working Space, one of the businesses that I've founded. So Flourish Co-working Space has been open since January of 2020. It was a rocky road getting started, but it's one of the businesses that I'm super, super proud of. In addition to Dean Street Law that I founded in January of 2019, we've closed over $10 billion of transactions since founding the business, as well as Ethereal Farms, luxury Airbnbs, and LD Brand, our educational resources, with our book that's launching on Amazon, as well as a number of educational courses such as lifestyle design with our Wild Ambition workbook, workshop, and course with over 100 on lifestyle design and over 200 pages of workbooks as well. So that's lifestyle design. We also have entrepreneurship courses as well, 60 days to launch your business, acquisition insights, as well as business foundation. 60 days to launch your business is going from 0 to 1 in your business timeline in 60 days. And then business foundation is going to take you from like 1 to 4, getting those foundations, really building a good base for your business to grow and scale from. And then acquisition insights is how you can buy other businesses to scale and grow. So we are really building out a whole suite of educational resources. Those are a few of a number of other businesses that I have. So as you can tell, entrepreneurship is near and dear to my heart, one of my favorite things to talk about in addition to lifestyle design. And the reason is because entrepreneurship is your playground for developing yourself, for personal development, for lifestyle design. It will be the mirror to you. It will show you all the things that you need to work on. And I truly think that between entrepreneurship and lifestyle design, you can architect such an incredible life for yourself. I don't think that entrepreneurship is for everybody. We're going to be talking about lifestyle design, whether you're an entrepreneur or not. It can apply to you either way, but specifically talking about entrepreneurship throughout this conversation, I don't think entrepreneurship is for everybody. Absolutely not. But if it is for you, it is an incredible tool to help you to design a life that you love. So let's talk about a little bit about what is lifestyle design. To me, lifestyle design is not just setting a goal and taking yourself upon the journey of getting to that goal. Lifestyle design is architecting an ecosystem around you that supports your vision, that nourishes you in all ways, fulfills you. It's not just one goal. It is the entire ecosystem of architecting your life from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed, and not in like a robotic way, but in a nourishing, organic way. I like to think about it as a garden. A goal is saying, I want to grow red roses. And when you're in lifestyle design, you are architecting your entire garden and where you want this and how it's going to impact that and how you can use your available space and how you can make it the most beautiful, wonderful world for you. And so it's not just one single element, it is the architecture of them all. And that's how I see lifestyle design being very different from goal setting. Now, with that said, it is so important to have that vision within yourself and to spend time getting to know yourself, having belief in yourself, developing confidence in yourself, and truly owning that vision that you want. Because if you're thinking about designing this garden of life for yourself and you want to add certain elements, if you have doubts that you can do certain things, it's going to hold you back. And I truly believe that every single person can do whatever it is on their heart to do. I think that if you want to be an astronaut, you can be an astronaut. If you want to discover a new element in science, I believe that you can do that. It is merely identifying what it is that you want, claiming it as yours, and then putting your time, attention, resources, and doing everything that you can to take that next step to get there. And you may not know all the steps to get there. That's not what lifestyle design is. Lifestyle design is not knowing every single step that you need to take to get from point A to point B. It is architecting life around you, decision by decision, moment by moment, to enable your goals and dreams for the architecture of your life to become inevitable. And you have to have a lot of faith to get there because it is unknown. First of all, there's millions of ways to get every path in life. And second, your path should be uniquely yours, because what works for someone else may not align with your goals and vision one for one. You need to be able to adapt. You need to be able to look inward and find that inspiration and find that direction within yourself. So it's not going to every other expert to get their advice on what you should do, but rather being the student of others and the student of yourself, so that you can see what everybody else is doing and then decide what is the right path for you. Because when you do that, there will be such an incredible alignment in your life of not only pursuing your dreams, but living in a way that you've already achieved your dreams. Because imagine working your entire life to eventually get to the place where you've achieved your dreams. Or you could decide today that you will live in a way that embodies your dreams. And then instead of working tirelessly for decades to get there, you'll be there today. And then you will actually, I think, build your dreams more quickly by embodying the person that you want to be when you get there. Because a lot of our dreams externally are actually a reflection of where we are internally. They're actually saying, I want to do this because I want to feel this way. And so if you can just jump a few steps, you will feel that way and find so much joy in your life, despite the fact that there's ups and downs. I really think that there can be so much duality in life, in terms of there being externally things that you're going on and still being able to be happy. And it may not be easy, and every moment you may not be happy, but I do think that you can elevate yourself to a place where you can go through things in life and still have good moments and still enjoy your life and then still enjoy yourself. I have to say this has been very true. Going through many things in my life. I've gone through a lot in life, both personally, professionally, through businesses, through all of the different aspects of my life. And it's not easy losing loved ones, losing fur family, going through endless trials of natural disasters and accidents and one thing after another, and it feels like things are never ending. Sometimes there are those periods in life that happen, but I believe that if you cultivate within yourself that equanimity, that confidence, that joy of being and showing up in the world as the person that you want to be, it gives you so much strength to navigate the ups and downs in life. So today I want to talk about a few things in lifestyle design. I absolutely love the holidays. I hope you are having so much fun being with your family, shopping, gift giving, celebrating, decorating, all those things. Those make me so happy at the end of the year. And you are never behind in what you do. But I will say, I absolutely love to start my plan for the next year well before it starts. I'm not the December 31st, let's plan January 2025 kind of girl. I am not the January 1st, let's plan 2025. I'm not even the December, let's plan 2025 girl. I did my lifestyle design for 2025 in August. And the reason being because I did it in October last year and I felt like I had so much to do. And now I have been able to make decisions all this rest of the year to support where I want to go in the future. I don't think that you have to be the August planner for the next year or the October planner for the next year. And I think that if you pick it up in March or August or whenever, it's totally fine. You are never behind in life. You are never behind in lifestyle design or what you want to do in life. I don't think that our dreams expire. I don't think that it's ever too late. But get started now. It's going to have incredible dividends that it pays in your life. It's going to be something that supports you in every way. And going into it, we're going to talk about how to set that vision, how to work internally, how to work backwards from where you want to be that person today. One of the greatest lessons that I've learned in life, and I learned this in a very small way that has had profound impacts in my life, was I was reading a book about style, and it said this style is bohemian and this style is classic and everything. And I think I was either in high school or in college or something around there. And I thought, well, I'm not bohemian. I can't dress bohemian. That's just not me. That's not who I am. And I realized from there that, why? Says who? I can be bohemian one day and be classic another. And I can define who I am, and it is merely my decision that I want to be a certain way, and I want to act a certain way, and I want to embody a certain person, whether it be for a minute or an hour or a day or a lifetime. That's my decision, and I get to be the one that decides who I am, and I don't have to let anybody else decide based on prior perception or what they want me to be in the future. It's really no one else's decision but me. And who says that I'm not bohemian but me? Who says that I can't pursue something that's on my heart but me? There have been a lot of people who have told me at various times in my life that I should not pursue various dreams, that I should not be an entrepreneur, that it's too risky, that I'm likely to fail, all of these things. 5 businesses later, you would think that that would quiet down to a certain extent, but I still hear it. And you would imagine people would see, if they have a hard time seeing you be the person that you want to be, you would imagine that giving them evidence that you can be successful being that person would give them confidence that you are able to be that person. And it still challenges them. And that's why you just have to accept that you have to give yourself permission to be the person you want to be. Whether that's for a day, an hour, a lifetime, it's up to you. And when you claim that power in your life, you can change so quickly. You can be the person that you want to be so quickly, because there's no reason to wait to embody that person. And we're going to talk about how I become the person that I want to be through lifestyle design. So let's go through. We've talked about lifestyle design. Let's talk about alignment a little bit more. I really think that spending that time to dive inward is incredibly important. One, we have a finite amount of time here on earth in this lifetime. So why not spend it in the way that's actually going to fulfill you personally? Because you can only live for yourself. And I think even if you want to live for others, in order to best live for others, we have to first live for ourselves. And so when you're thinking of ideas, it can be so subtle how externally influenced you are. Whether it's because just our programming is meant to survive. And so when you survive, that's often from power, from influence, from the perception of others. That impacts our survivability at a very in a very ancient way. And it also, neurologically, on a subconscious level, can influence us in very subtle ways. And so it can be very hard sometimes to discern, if you're not in the practice of doing this, whether a desire is actually yours or whether it was an idea that had positive reception if you've shared it, and that has influenced you to pursue it. And so I'm happy to share that becoming a lawyer was not necessarily my idea alone. It was my decision, but it wasn't necessarily always my idea alone. I love deal making, but my dad said how influential law is on business and how helpful it would be to have had a law degree or to have a better understanding of it, and how helpful it would be also, of course, to have a lawyer in the family. That was very influential to me. Absolutely. And I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. And so to be an entrepreneur, I wanted to be a lawyer because that is the key to business. but it wasn't my idea alone. And you have to really ascertain it's okay if it's not your idea alone, but how much of that is driven by someone else and your desire to make them happy. I think especially when we're talking about parents and family members or spouses and making them happy, it tends to be very influential to us on a conscious and subconscious level. So when you're thinking about your goals, really think, well, where did I get this inspiration from? And who has supported this? And is it really my dream or is it their dream? And that's no blame for anybody. It is a natural part of community to support one another, to cheer them on. So this is not to blame anyone, but you do have to determine whether what you have set out to do actually aligns with your core values and how you want to feel and how you want to be and who you want to show up as in life. With that said, I think that sometimes people go in the other direction and also say, well, I love yoga, so I want to be a yoga teacher. I want to have a yoga studio because I am so happy when practicing yoga. But they don't understand the discernment that practicing something for fun can be a lot different than practicing the business of it, which does not often times actually mean that you're on the mat enjoying the benefits of yoga. You are creating that experience for others through the business processes and hiring and scheduling and all of the behind the scenes so that person can experience that. And that's not to say that that's not your dream, but sometimes people get confused about their enjoyment of something when it's a hobby versus their enjoyment of something as a career path. Now, I do think that if that's aligned for you, then amazing. But sometimes there's a lot of pressure to always do what you love, even in your career. And I think personally, it's perfectly acceptable to have a career that gives you what you want out of it so you can do what you love too. I think you can do both. I think you can transition over time. I don't think that it has to be one or the other. So this is not a do what you love all the time type of mentality, to the extent that it is actually not going to be what you love. It is identify the core values within yourself and make decisions where you want to continue to override perhaps something that is the best for you, because in the long run, it's going to take you where you want to go. I think that's acceptable too. To me, there's no pressure. There's a million ways you can bake a cake, and each one is going to be an incredible variation unto itself, as it should be, because it's your life and you're unique. You are you, and it's such a different essence than everything else in the world. So the other aspect of alignment I want to talk about is how everything compounds over time. When we think of an idea or an action, doing it once doesn't compound very much. It has very little impact. But imagine that element being present in your life every hour, every day, every year. It will compound over time. And so I like to think of this in terms of a flight pattern. And I've used this example many times, but I think it's really truly the most easy way to explain it, is that when you start your journey in a flight and you have a few degrees of distance and you say, I'm pivoted 1 degree north and 1 degree more south, or 2 degrees more south, when that degree compounds over the flight pattern, compounds over time, it will take you in drastically different ways. And so when you're thinking about your lifestyle design, you do have to care about the details and really work through everything and make the tough decisions, because sometimes it's tough to walk away from things we really enjoy that do benefit us when it actually is taking away from something that we would prefer to do more or want more of. And so it's very hard to make those decisions, but we have to think not just how this is going to impact my week, but how is this going to compound over time and affect the trajectory that I have in my business, career, and life. So those are a couple of things. I do believe that when we think of our core values and we really take the time to be a student of ourselves as well as others, that becomes a good intuition that we develop ourselves, because only you will be able to tell yourselves what is right for you. You have to do that inner work, and it is work, and it is something that you have to continue to work at. Lifestyle design is dynamic. It's changing every day as our ideas and preferences and direction changes. So we have to be able to move quickly and make changes as well. So let's talk about how we identify values and aspirations. Then we're going to be talking about working backwards from that idea of ourselves to structure your life for success. And then we're going to be talking about building supportive environments, how to overcome challenges and stay motivated, and then a few practical steps as well. So we have a bit more to go through on this. I know that we've talked a good about so far about lifestyle design, so I won't stay too long on all of these. But let's talk first about identifying your values and aspirations and starting with self-reflection. In my opinion, self-reflection is something that you should be doing all day, every day. It is an iterative process that helps you to be the best version of yourself. Whether you just hosted Friendsgiving or Thanksgiving and reflect on how you did and what you liked and what you want to do better and what you want to do differently, spending the time to reflect on everything in your life, your feelings, what's coming up for you, what's challenging you, what you're good at, what you're not good at, what you need less of, what you need more of. All of that, being a student of yourself, will compound everything that you do in lifestyle design, because it's that compression of taking time that would typically compound something, but because you're so focused on your direction and what you need, it exponentially increases your ability, in my opinion, to achieve what you want in life when you are self-reflective. There are so many different tools for self-reflection: meditation, journaling, speaking through talk therapy, speaking to your animals, going on walks, thinking, brainstorming, drawing, whatever it is that naturally comes to you for self-reflection, do that. Don't stress about having to do meditation if you're not in the mood for meditation. And also, my tools personally vary significantly based on what is tools in my toolbox that help me at that moment. What am I drawn to in that moment? What do I need to get my ideas out? Sometimes it's a vision board. Sometimes it's an exercise. Sometimes it's a meditation visualization. If you're interested in exercises to spend time on self-reflection, we do have the Wild Ambition 7-day extravaganza where it takes you through a small mini course on lifestyle design. It's free, it's complimentary. We'll link it in the show notes. We also have the Wild Ambition workbook, which is 50 pages of exercises, including the life audit, which is one of my favorite exercises for lifestyle design and inner reflection. And then we also have Wild Ambition workbook or workshop that's 3 hours of exercises. So many exercises. There are videos, take you through everything. And we also have the Wild Ambition course, which is 100 lessons, 200 plus pages of workbooks, all the things. So there's plenty of resources that we have for you if you're looking for exercises. You can also, I really like finding meditations that feel good to me. I love different apps for that. Headspace is one of my favorites, and the other one is the Insight Timer. And then YouTube has great meditations as well. So I'll take you through a 30-second, it won't be 30 seconds, we'll say about 30-second meditation to look inward and identify your values. So take a moment to sit up straight, breathe in, let yourself calm down from the external world. Take a moment to just breathe and center your attention inward. Do a body scan from the top of your head, relaxing your muscles through your face, relaxing your neck and your jaw, your tongue, relaxing your shoulders, relaxing your chest and stomach, your arms and torso, your hips, your legs, your feet, grounding into the earth, finding that security to give you confidence, to believe in yourself, to dream. These are all the things that are so essential to being honest with yourself. And the more honest with yourself that you are, the more you're able to truly align your ideas with your vision and exponentially increase every little thing that you do and the impact that it has to take you where you want to go. So let's strip aside the falsities, the negativities, the I don't believe in myself or I can't do it. It has no place in this conversation. This is the time that you believe in yourself. This is the time that anything is possible. That you take to be the best version of yourself. It's the time that you would give to others, you are going to give to yourself. And you have to think, in this world, who do you want to be? How do you want to feel? Start to imagine a painting like a watercolor. And with each drip of paint that hits the canvas, you are creating the life that you want. You're infusing it with your essence, your desires. And there's another drop of paint. And what is it in your life that it's creating? Is it peace? Is it confidence? Is it in your external world or is it in your internal world? Both are good. If you want to splash a little bit of paint on that paper and it's a barn for your horses, you know I support that. Start creating that painting. And with each brush of the paintbrush, each drop of the paint, it becomes more clear what you want. It becomes easier, in fact, to learn more about what you want. Observe how it's making you feel. Consider the person that you are in this painting, walking through it as if it's your real life. Imagine you're the Mary Poppins dropped into a painting that becomes real around you. How does it feel around you? What catches your eye? What catches your attention? Who are you in this life? What do you surround yourself with? What do you do on a daily basis? Breathe it in, soak it in. Let it inspire you and give you direction. Allow it all to come to you, grounded through your feet in the earth, so that when you turn your attention back to your present time, you retain it all. You retain that strong sense of self, strong sense of direction, and you're able to take this information and turn it into action. Take a deep breath in, absorbing it all, and out, releasing it, letting it flow through you. Embody it. Start to wiggle your fingers and toes, bringing attention to your present day body. Breathe that in, securing that knowledge that you can always return to this space. Pause and make the meditation longer. Journal. You can return to it on your own time. You have this knowledge within yourself, even from a quick glance at that world of yours. It's given you the direction that you need. And when you're ready, open your eyes, stretch yourself out. When I was starting my business, I needed a place to create, a place that filled me from the inside out, somewhere that inspired me, helped me make content, a place where I could go to get good work done and host events, gather in community, celebrate one another, host family and friends for gatherings. So I created Flourish Co-working Space in Westchester, Pennsylvania. It's a space that nourishes you from the inside out. It's lush, inspiring environment with hundreds of plants to make you feel like your best self so that you can do your best work and gather in community in a way that's casual, inviting, and just incredible. I hope you check it out. If you need a co-working or event space in Westchester, PA, be sure to visit us and book your co-working or event today. Oh, I love a good lifestyle design meditation, and I love a good lifestyle design exercise. That is the essence of what we do in the Wild Ambition workshop, the Wild Ambition course, the workbook, all the things. So if you want more, there's plenty of resources for you. If you need to, take a moment, pause the podcast, and write down all the things that you thought of. Or do anything to you that makes sense. If it is going on Pinterest and creating a collage of what that vision is, if it is doing more exercises to really get to know yourself. It is a process. It's a muscle that you build over time, getting to know yourself, your values, and that information that you take from there, you take it and you understand, what do I want to feel? Who do I want to be? What are the values I have? And how do I spend my time? And you'll be amazed that being that person today inevitably allows you to become that person. And it's not going to be linear. There are going to be ups and downs, and sometimes you're not going to have the time or attention or resources to put towards your inevitable goals. But if my goals are to be an incredible equestrian, and as an incredible equestrian, I spend time with my horses, I train them, I ride them, we go on adventures together. If I start to be that person today and schedule time and do what I need to do to arrange my schedule to have more time to be with them, and that's a value of mine, when I spend the time doing those activities that I would as that person, I will inevitably become that person. I know that's a bit of an easier example, but I really believe that that's the case with everything that we do. So when you take that time, write down your values too. What are the most important things for you to spend time on? And what are the most important things for you to do in your life? And that vision aspect of it, where you're doing a meditation, you're creating a vision, I really think that's important. To me, I like journaling, but I need to have a strong vision. And that may just be me and how I work, but I need to see it clearly. What are the things that I'm surrounded by? What are the things that I'm investing in? What are the decisions that I'm making on a daily basis? If I'm riding this much, what does that mean for my time allocation? So I'm really understanding how I live in that. And then from there, we talk about how you can structure your daily routines and habits and time management, work-life balance, all to support you. So from there, I really like to what's called creating my bridge schedule. I like to call it ideal schedule, and a bridge schedule is one of the exercises from the Wild Ambition workbook that I also take you through in the workshop and course, because it is the key, in my opinion, to all of lifestyle design, is how do you architect it with your time, which is one of your most valuable resources. So thinking of that person that you want to become, what are they doing with their time? How are they spending it? When are they waking up? When are they eating breakfast? What are they doing before they go do their thing that they want to do for the day? What elements do they have in their day, their week, their month, their quarter, their season, their year? Think through those elements to understand what you want to start implementing in your day, routine, week, month, season, year to be that person. So it's very hard to always think of what we need to do as the next step to get to where we want to be, especially when that's a big dream. But what we can do is allocate time towards it and do whatever we can think of in that time to get closer to it. Or just have the next steps that you can think of and put those on the calendar. So that's my secret to being able to get somewhere I don't know where I'm going to go. I don't need to know every step, but I need to know what I want to do next and when I'm going to do it. Because if I don't have that, it's not going to get done. I'm very driven by my calendar personally. So I like to think of what's my ideal schedule, that woman I want to become. But let's be real, I may not have the time at this point in my life to dedicate to it as much as I would more fully at that point in my life. I have employees and businesses, and I can't do horses all day, every day, as much as I would love that. So how can I create a bridge? What is a realistic commitment that I can make now, today, to get to a little bit closer to that place in my life? And for me, I'm just going to keep on rolling with this example because it's very present in my life. I just scheduled time with an accountability person to go work with the horses. I'm not allowed to ride right now, but I can certainly groom them and spend time with them and start training them on the ground since I'm not allowed to ride with my current injury. So how can I spend time with the horses at the part that I am most able to? And I think that's a realistic limitation for most people, whether it's an injury that you have or financial limitation or something. It's very challenging to go from 0 to 100. And so with your limitations, what can you do? What can you commit to? And how can you build that idea backwards? And so I first fill my schedule with the most important things: sleep, meals, time with my family, and then I put in the stuff that's really important to me. And then I say, hey, what else do I have time for? And what am I currently committed to? And that's when you have to make the hard decisions about whether something is actually serving you. I have a lot of commitments to others, and it's very challenging because sometimes those commitments to others are appealing. Someone just asked me to be on the board of directors of an incredible organization doing something absolutely amazing in the community, and I would love to. But right now, I'm really struggling to spend time with my businesses and do the things that I need to do on a daily basis because they're important to me because of the injury and having so many setbacks. And so I need to, while I would love to do that, make the hard decision that it's not for me and that I would rather spend time getting back to myself and doing things that I really need to feel good. I don't have the ability to work out right now. I don't have a lot of ways that I can get rid of stress right now. I really do need to spend time with my horses because even though it's confusing because I have so much work to catch up on, I have 5 businesses, and it used to be very easy to manage 5 businesses, but now I've been hurt. I have a bad concussion. I can't be around a lot of people. I have spine injuries. I'm not allowed to lift weights. I'm not allowed to run. I'm not allowed to do a lot of things. I'm not even really allowed to use my computer that much. And I have a lot of legal work that needs to be done. And it can be confusing to say, no, I need to do legal work because legal work needs to be done. My clients need it to be done. And say, I'm not going to go spend time with my horses that day because I need to prioritize this. It can be very convincing in life to do that. But while there are things that we juggle, glass balls and rubber, things will break and things that won't, there are certain, deadlines that clients need us to adhere to. But there's also others where you can plan a little bit better. You can get a little bit more time in your schedule. You can get rid of social media. You can take off the time that you watch TV. You can really declutter your space and time, and you can allocate the time that you want to what you want to allocate it to. So I really encourage you to spend the time to do these exercises to really start aligning your time, attention, resources to being the person that you want to be. And then time management, I have a couple tips to share with you. I really like to have certain days dedicated to certain things. So we talk about this in great length in the course in designing your time. But what I like to do is think of like days that are for certain things. And so certain days of my week, I'm in the office and I'm very focused on my team and doing what they need me to do, focused on my clients and doing what they need to do. And then I have days where I'm more internally focused and I'm like, okay, these are for big creative projects for the business, or this is for a day where I just need a day of catch up, or this is where I have a little bit more personal appointments. Especially with PT and all the doctor visits, we've had to make a lot of changes there. So it's important to take into account how your flow of energy will go and also where are you most productive in the day. I will not lie, I'm most productive at night, but it is very challenging being a night owl in a day person lifestyle. So I don't have any meetings before 10 in the morning. Well, I have one team meeting at 9:30, 2 days a week. But for the most part, I don't have any meetings before 10 a.m. because I need to be able to sleep in if I need to. I am going to start moving my horse schedule of my goal of working with my horses to the morning, because I find that if it happens at the end of the day, that's when I want to do work, and I don't want to do the fun things. I want to just hammer out some things while no one's bothering me. So that's the current season I'm in. That changes often, but I find that if you think through when you're most productive, when it's most helpful, and experiment, you're not going to know. And I change my schedule sometimes 20 times in a month, and then I find okay, I found my rhythm for this part of life, whether that part of life lasts 2 weeks or 2 months. I found my rhythm. My life changes quite often. I'm sure that most people's don't maybe change quite as often as mine, but with everything that I have going on, there are a lot of different demands. Right now, I've been working on a renovation project in Bryn Mawr, and that's pretty far from where I live. So I say, okay, this is a Bryn Mawr day. That means that I'm going to be working. If team members need me, they need to call me. I'm going to be blocking off the entire day for Bryn Mawr, and I do big sprints sometimes in big areas. When I'm writing my book, I usually spend a whole day writing my book. So blocking it out so that it's consistent. I know not everybody has that autonomy over their schedule all the time, but in my opinion, you can use it even in little ways to help you support your dreams and your lives and your goal. The number one question I'm asked is, how do I do all the things I do? So I put this into a course, a workbook, and a workshop where you can find all the little details about how I do this on a daily basis. And I've called it the Wild Ambition Lifestyle Design Course, Workbook, and Workshop. Transform your dreams into reality with guided vision setting, storyboarding, journaling, and all the tools I use to bring my dreams to life, with over 100 lessons, 200 plus pages of workbooks, and lifetime access so you can return to it whenever you need to. The course itself is that iterative process of how we continue to evolve over time to be the best version of ourselves. If you are an ambitious individual, if you want to make your dreams come true, I think you'll really love Wild Ambition, and I encourage you to check it out in the show notes. Start your journey today. Enroll now to dream and live with wild ambition. Let's talk about work-life balance. I have an interesting opinion on work-life balance, and you may have heard me talk about it before, but balance is a point that you will go in and out of. And the goal is not to always be in balance, but to be reflective of where you are on that pendulum of balance. And are you okay with that for where you are currently? There are a lot of sprints in my life where I want to get a project done and I am out of work-life balance. And that's okay for me. I don't think it's bad. I love working on my projects and I want to get them done and I want to get them realized. And I'm okay if I lose a little bit of sleep for a week, or if I don't have as much time to hang out with my friends. I'm okay with being out of balance. It's not sustainable. You have to know that. It's not going to last months or years. That's where it's unhealthy. But it's okay to go through sprints in life where you focus on a certain area. I went through sprints in my life where I made an evening gown and I was spending all available time making an evening gown. Now I'm making a wedding dress. So it's okay to be out of balance. It's not a bad thing. You just have to be honest with yourself where you are and where you want to be, where you're okay with being, what's your limit, and constantly reflect. That is a daily, minute-by-minute process of giving yourself what you need. You can't override and get too far where you can't bring yourself back. But I do think that, like when you're building muscle, it's helpful to go a little bit outside of your comfort zone to build and grow, and then that becomes easy. So I hope that it is easy to understand what I mean, and you don't think that I'm encouraging you to burn yourself out, but I do think that pushing yourself to do your best work and to be your best self and to go through those sprints helps you grow in a really, really incredible, quick manner. So I hope that's helpful. And when you're thinking of understanding that person that you want to be, and then taking the time to work backwards and understand how to implement that into your day-to-day routine, your life, your business. The next element is creating a supportive environment around yourself. I love that I'm doing this in Flourish. As you can see, it's light and bright and filled with plants and decor, natural textures. It makes me happy from the inside out. If you create environments for your success, for yourself, to make success easy, success becomes easy and it becomes inevitable. And so for me, this may take the form of many things. This is not to say that you need to buy all the things to do all the things. But I'm not going to lie. I love to buy all the things to do all the things. I love to buy my horses equestrian gear because I want to be a great equestrian. And that makes me happy to be the girl with all the gear and building some idea. I don't think that you have to be the person with all the gear and no idea, or the person with all the idea and no gear or whatnot. You can be the person that enjoys spending money and investing in this area of your life, but it doesn't have to. It shouldn't hold you back. You shouldn't need the new gear to get started. And sometimes people get a little too into it and it almost becomes a form of procrastination. And I'm not gonna lie, that is true for me too. Sometimes I say, I need this to get started. And I have to be really honest with myself. Do I really need this to get started? Or is it just gonna be super helpful? Sometimes I really do need it. It is very hard to train a horse without some kind of area that you can train them in. I did need an arena. I was very adamant about that. James and I needed to work on an arena. We needed to build it because you have to have an area to train a horse. They're wild animals. You're trying to learn how to communicate together. It needs to be safe. So that was definitely a must. Yes, I could have taken them out of the pasture, trained them on the ground, maybe without riding, without an arena. Yes, probably I could have ridden Chief without an arena because Chief is already trained, but I don't think it's a great idea to just ride out in the open with a horse that's untrained when you're not that great at it either. Like, that is just too many elements that are causing a really big opportunity for combustion. That's just gonna blow up in your face. So let's not do that. I did try that in prior parts of my life. I tried training untrained horses in 25-acre fields with no fencing, and it was not easy. It was very challenging, at times scary, At times we got ourselves into trouble. So yes, you have to know what is the literal cutoff of what you actually need and what you're just saying you need because you want to procrastinate the hard part, which is getting started. Getting started is always the hard part. So whether you need to find a friend, and that's creating the environment of success around you to do it with you, or you need to have some kind of accountability system, which I've done before too, whatever it is that you need to just get your butt going and spend time doing this, you need to do. And that sometimes does take an investment, but sometimes you can just be honest with yourself that saying that you need pretty boots and all of the pretty things for the horse to wear are not actually what you need to get started, because you actually could ride bareback. Now, don't recommend that for everybody, but just being honest with myself. I would ride certain horses bareback. I don't know that I would ride all horses, maybe not an untrained horse. We're getting into side details of my examples we don't need to get into. The point being, don't convince yourself that you need something around you or something to get started. There are ways always to get started. And then surround yourself with the right people. If it's a skill you don't know, who knows it? Social media, it doesn't have to be paying people. It could be social media, watching YouTube, surrounding yourself with the voices of people through podcasts, just learning, taking in information, buying books. Oh my God, I love a good book on a good subject. Buy books, read books, audiobooks, all the books. It is so helpful to learning all the things. You have people who have taken decades and years of their entire life and learning and put it into a 5-hour experience for you to learn some of their greatest lessons. Like, how incredible is that? It blows my mind. So I hope that you take the time to surround yourself with the ideas, the things, the people, the environments. Create an environment for your success for yourself. It will help you be tremendously successful. And the next item is leverage technology, leverage tools, whatever you can do to make it easier for yourself, to make it more simple, more easy, more accessible, to take time off of your schedule. So a lot of things that I like to do are figuring out automations or leveraging AI. How about using ChatGPT to develop for you a list of all the things? Let's say you want to go riding with your horses on an adventure, but you've never packed for something like this before. How about asking ChatGPT to come up with a packing list for a full day of adventure, and using technology to help you, whether it be automations or AI or anything that you can do to leverage what you have around you to make your life easier. I love to use it to brainstorm, to come up with plans, systems, and processes. When I hired someone to work at the farm, I asked it to come up with a list of all the seasonal tasks to do to take care of the farm, so that I didn't have to think about all the tasks to do to take care of the farm. So use technology, leverage that. The next item I want to chat about is overcoming challenges and how to stay motivated. You have to be very honest with yourself about what motivates you and whether you're good at being motivated or not. I'm not going to lie. If I have a block around something and something feels hard because I'm not sure, I don't know if I'm the best at it yet, I'm still building skills, I need different ways to motivate myself. I'm typically very self-motivated. If it's an art project or something like that, I'm typically very self-motivated. But when we're talking about things like making my wedding gown, that's a little bit more challenging because it's pretty important and I don't want to mess it up. It's so helpful to just have someone there to spend time with me, even if they're not doing anything. My mom is my emotional support when I am making my wedding gown. She occasionally holds a needle for me. She occasionally takes something out. She occasionally presses something. Most of the time, she's just hanging out with me, asking questions, talking to me, watching TV, like just being with me while I do the hard thing. That for me is absolutely huge. It helps me so much be able to tackle areas of my life. I have been having a huge block around spending more time with the horses because so many things in my life have happened. First, before the accident, I had so much legal work I needed to do that it was really always hard to prioritize it. And then I still had like lessons and everything, and I would ride a couple times in between. So I was riding like 3 or 4 times a week, but I really want it to be like an everyday thing, like going for a walk that makes me so happy. And so after the accident, of course, I can't ride. And it's like very hard to say, let me just like spend time with them, even though it makes me so deliriously happy to just like be with them and pet them and train them on the ground. It's very hard. Not that our relationship is one way and I only ride with them, but just like so many things are overwhelming for me right now, being so behind in work, trying to juggle 5 businesses while having migraines and vertigo and a billion doctors and vet appointments and not feeling like myself and not feeling well and being injured and being in a lot of pain and all the things. So, and not having memory and not being able to remember things. And what was very easy for me to draft documents hundreds of pages at a time because my brain was working properly is now extremely difficult for me. I can't remember words. I'm like trying to figure out the concepts. It's very hard to stay focused. So like all of that has been so overwhelming to me, on top of the fact that I feel like I'm always catching up on my work now, so that it's been very challenging to just spend time with the horses, even if it's just petting them or walking them or something that I'm still able to do. And realistically, I'm not allowed to do still a lot of it. Like grooming them is going to be very hard because it's a lot of movement of my arms. And for a long period of time, that's going to cause a lot of pain. So what I did was I bit the bullet and said, hey, person who works the farm with me, will you work with me for 1 to 2 hours in the morning, just helping me as I work with the horses so that they can do the things that I can't do. And so that also I have someone who is showing up and is going to be there and I can be there too, almost like a personal trainer, but they don't have the experience. I have the experience. They're more just spending time and helping. So I'm biting the bullet to get the support that I need to actually make this happen in my life. I know that it's not easy. Sometimes it's an investment, but it is important because for me, this is one of my biggest ways to release stress. It's my greatest therapy. It's my greatest happiness. And I need that. I need a lot of that in life right now. So I need to make it happen, even if it's challenging. So I know that if I were left to my own devices, I wouldn't be that motivated. I would have a lot of struggle to just get out of the house and go spend time with them because the entire time I'd be stressed about all the other things to do. But if I know if I can make it so that I can meet up with someone, we could do it together, I'm going to be focused on it. I'm going to enjoy it. And I'm not going to be focused on all the other things I need to do. I'm going to be like, I made a commitment, not just to myself, but to someone else. And that's what I needed to stay motivated. It's normal that you're not going to have motivation at all time. That's not the goal. The goal is not to be constantly motivated. That's like being a robot. That's not realistic. But if you can know yourself enough to know what you need to get started, to take action, to take the next step, and just take it day by day, you don't have to commit to training every morning for 10 months. You can just say, I'd like to meet on Friday at 6:30 a.m. That's it. That's all I did. And you know what? I took a step in the right direction. It's amazing how much this podcast has really aligned with all the things I'm going through right now. It has been planned for a long time and we're finally recording it. So I know it's not easy when you have challenges, particularly when they're physical, mental, everything going on in life, all the commitments you have. Believe me, I know I'm going through it right now. I fully appreciate and empathize how challenging it is when you have things going on in your life that make it difficult to do the things that you want, the things that you need, the things that make you happy. But at some point you have to put your foot down and say, I need to do this. I need to do this for me. This is important. I can't keep putting this off. I need to take action. And you will find so much release of stress in your life. Sometimes our greatest stresses in life are just things that aren't actions taken in our life. I truly believe that. Fallon Taylor, I think, just said a quote. She's one of my favorite equestrians. She just said a quote, I think, to something to the effect that most of our stress is imagined. Essentially, we self-create most of our stress. And I couldn't agree more. And I also think that most of our stress comes from actions that we want to take that we haven't taken yet. So if that's you in your life, decide today, decide right now, you are going to take action. You are going to do something, one thing, one small thing, the very next step to make this vision of who you want to be a reality today. You can embody them. You can be them. You are them. You are the person that gets to decide that you're them. You get to be that person today in a small way, in a big way. Deciding to be that person today means that you are that person. And that's why I met my friend Shelly, and I had in my bio that I was an entrepreneur. She was like, "Oh, you have a business." I was like, "Oh, in my head, I haven't actually, started the business yet." And she's like, "Oh, okay." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's kind of the way I operate. If I'm writing a book, I'm an author, whether or not it's published. That's just inevitable. It's going to happen." And so be the person you want to be, whether it's an entrepreneur, an author, an incredible mom, a horsewoman, or a dog mom, whatever it is that makes you happy, do that. We have tons of resources, as I mentioned, with the Wild Ambition Lifestyle Design course, workbook, workshop, all available for you. So if you'd like to use those resources, you're welcome to. We also have the free Wild Ambition live extravaganza. If you want to wait until the new year after the holidays, go for it. There is never a bad time to start working on yourself. It's always the right time. Cheers, and I hope that we can grow together. Be sure to tag me on my latest post of what you want to learn more about, what you want me to chat about, and I look forward to joining you in the next episode.